Solid waste is commonly known as garbage, litter, or rubbish. It is unwanted material which may exist in solid, liquid, and/or semi-liquid form. There are three general types of solid waste: municipal, hazardous, and industrial waste. An effective solid waste management system is important as this inevitable facet of life can cause great harm to humans and the environment. Solid waste dumped in an uncontrolled manner has the potential to cause air and land pollution. Diseases are able to spread freely, such as respiratory infections from contaminated dust and dengue from the mosquitoes that thrive in waste sites. There are various methods that countries utilize in order to manage solid waste. These methods are affected by many factors such as economical funding, local environmental factors, and environmental impact awareness. Some common methods of solid waste management are landfill. Landfill is a specially engineered land where waste is dumped. Once a section of landfill becomes full, the area is sealed with a permanent cap. The biodegradable portion of the waste decomposes, thereby reducing the volume of waste. The biodegradable contents can then be used to generate electricity. Another method is incineration. This method is used to burn waste which generates heat and electricity. This can reduce waste volume up to 90%. Recycling and materials recovery is another method. In this method, materials like glasses and plastics are collected from waste and are transformed into a new product. When considering the most environmentally sustainable solid waste management method, the advantages and disadvantages must be analyzed. By comparatively studying methods used in Australia and the Philippines, one is able to see the effectiveness of both approaches. Moreover, this analysis may help one understand how geographical, economical, and ecological factors may influence the waste management method implemented. Solid waste management varies between states and local government authorities. The most common practice in Australia for waste management is explained in this waste flow chart. The flowchart shows a summary on how the solid waste is treated in Australia. Each type of solid waste is sorted and processed to either deposit them in a landfill or recycle and reuse the material depending upon the material's necessity. The table here shows the waste generation in Australia from 1996 to 1997 to 2006 to 2007. It can be seen that as the waste generated is increasing, so is the recycling of the waste. The unwanted waste, which cannot be treated, are deposited in the landfill, and therefore the waste to landfill has also increased. The table here shows the percentage of waste generated, recycled, and waste disposed to landfill for each state of Australia. It can be seen that Australia generated about 2.08 tons of waste in 2006 to 2007. Reports such as these indicate that the Australian government spends great amount of funding and research into solid waste management systems. The National Waste Policy, which is agreed by all Australian environment ministers in November 2009, provides an environmentally responsible approach to waste management. This graph explains the amount of waste generated and the amount of solid waste processed. The x-axis indicates the year and the y-axis indicates the amount of waste generated in kilograms. Line 1 shows a steady rise in waste generation line, which signifies the increase of recycling, collected waste, litter, and burning. The waste mountain collapsing in the city is observable in the graph. Both lines 4 and 5 show a sharp increase in litter and burning between the years 2001 to 2002. The littering trend then decreased as the line is less steep. This graph shows the solid waste management budget of Philippines. The x-axis indicates years and the y-axis indicates cost. Observing the graph, it can be stated that even though the amount of funds are increasing, the budget is still not enough. This is due to the increasing amount of waste generation. This also leads to decreased capacity of landfill, which then results in an increase of landfilling costs per ton of garbage deposited throughout the year.
In Australia, disposal of waste in landfill is the ultimate fate of all non-recycled solid waste. Landfills have lower operating costs compared to waste reprocessing systems. While some landfills have been in use for decades, many are being gradually replaced with modern landfills. These newer models are designed to control harmful byproducts of solid waste such as leachate and gas emissions. Most importantly, they are sited carefully with regard to the natural conditions of the area. Landfill siting must take into account soil conditions, hydrology and topography, climate, local environmental issues, hauling distances, land use, and other issues. Securing community and political acceptance for the use of site remains very difficult, signifying that there is greater concern and awareness amongst the general population regarding solid waste management. Contrastingly, the incident of Philippines gives an unregulated method of selecting landfill sites. A mountain waste collapsed, killing some 300 people in the year 2000. Local scavengers were employed in Payata's Poverty Alleviation Foundation to collect recyclable waste to minimize waste at a local level. Whilst this type of work is admirable, greater efforts by government is required to ensure landfills are managed to standards which least affect the safety of human and the environment.
It can be seen that the effectiveness of solid waste management is directly dependent on regularity measures enforced by a government. Although both the Government of Australia and Philippines has brought in legislation to enforce certain standards, the Philippines has achieved less in terms of management of solid waste. This can be attributed to Philippines' greater population, 100 million versus 20 million, weaker economy, weaker political will in promoting waste management techniques, and a major lack of funding. Greater public awareness and involvement in Australia regarding solid waste management when compared to the Philippines is the key when it comes to applying more stringent, safer standards in solid waste management methods. This is 12.